This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we are going full combo with one of my favorite cards. Actually, I've been on a bit of a kick for all of this cycle lately. 7 mana sorcery nonsense that completely changes the game. Yes, sign me up. That's exciting. It's Eerie Ultimatum combo. And I've been on a kick trying to build new or different decks around all the ultimatums, starting with 4 of each ultimatum. Yeah, they end up being Yorion decks. And this one actually runs the Yorions in the main too. The reason that they end up being Yorion decks is because it's a 7 mana sorcery, and you need to fit more cards into the deck so that you don't draw like 3 of them in your opening hand and in the first 10 cards of your library, because that you're never going to win that game. And some of you might see this and say, didn't you play Abzan Yorion not that long ago? But this is less about the Yorion and more about the combo, more about the ultimatum. So I think it's a bit more fun, but I also think it's kind of good. It's decent in several matchups, and it isn't an auto loss, so I wanted to show it even though it looks a little familiar. We fill our graveyard with Mire Triton, so that goes into the deck. The Black Splash is also assisted by Elspeth's Nightmare, and we have this combo for the creatures that I absolutely love in this deck, which is Woe Strider and Luminous Broodmoth. So, when Luminous Broodmoth is on the field, whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield with a flying counter, and Woe Strider is an open-ended sacrifice outlet, letting you sacrifice creatures, which, if you have a Broodmoth and those creatures don't fly, they come straight back to the battlefield. So what this deck wants to achieve is, of course, it wants to get a lot of cards into the graveyard and play just kind of a Yorion grindy game plan, a control game plan. And the opponent will try to deal with your stuff. We have that core control white shell of Glass Casket, Skyclave Apparition, Elspeth Conquers Death, and Yorion. This is pretty hard to beat for a lot of decks. But at the end game, instead of like a Dance of the Manse, as you might see other places, what we're going to do is we're going to cast Eerie Ultimatum and hopefully get back a Luminous Broodmoth, a Woe Strider, and a Yorion, and several other things. So let's imagine that we also got back like a Skyclave Apparition and a Solemn Simulacrum and a Mire Triton, right? And maybe an Elvish Visionary. Okay, so we get this stuff back. We make sure that you put a stop on the phase or you use full control, right? And then when the Yorion trigger is on the stack, choosing what to blink, you're going to use the Woe Strider to sacrifice everything without flying with the Yorion trigger on the stack, which means that they're all going to leave the battlefield, then come back because of the Broodmoth and trigger an additional time. And then once they're back with flying, you blink them all with Yorion, and when they come back on end step, you do it all again. Again. Pog. I don't know about you. That is... Oh, that's exciting. What did... I used a term value-gasm. Somebody said it's not a kid-friendly show. All right. I don't know. Do we have to retire that one? Anyway, it's big cool. That's what it is. So this version of the deck is all in on making that happen with 4 copies of the Ultimatum. I realize that usually when I play Abzan Yorion, it's, you know, the Ultimatum maybe comes out once a video. The plan is to bring this out, to do this like every freaking game if I can. So it's all about the Ultimatums today, which I think you guys will find exciting. The rest of the cards are just making that happen, really. Golden Egg. But we're also a bit rampier, I think. We've got 4 Wolf Willow Havens, because you really do need to ratchet up the mana. I guess we only have 2 Solemns. A version of this deck used to have 4 Visionaries and 4 Solemns, but they just die to Bone Crusher way too much. I guess most of my deck does, but I ended up trimming those back. But yeah, I think the Havens also are just really important because you have to get up to the Elspeth Conquers Deaths and the Yorions very quickly. You end up playing Yorion just as a like 5 mana 4/5 and draw 1 card very often with this build. And I think I've introed it enough. I think you know how most of this goes. I think what you're eager to see is the ultimatum just cause people much stress, misery, and pain. As intended. So this is streak number 652, daily videos in a row without missing a day on MTG Arena. Thank you everybody for being on this journey with me. As we revealed yesterday, Social Blade says that we are scheduled to hit the 100,000 subscriber mark. I will give you an update on if that has changed at the end of the video. So make sure you watch the whole thing and stay till the end. Also, this is another one of your monthly reminders. Please head over to Twitch and renew your Twitch Prime subscription if you have a Twitch Prime or Twitch Gaming, as it's now called, subscription to the channel. Those are free for those of you who have Amazon Prime, but it supports your favorite content creator. It takes a few dollars out of the Amazon and puts it into the CGB. And the CGB needs a few more dollars than the Amazon at the moment. Not saying I don't love their work. They got many dollars. I could use a few more dollars. So if you have Amazon Prime and you want to support the channel and, you know, show support for the 652 daily videos in a row, then please consider linking your Amazon Prime to Twitch and then using a Twitch Prime subscription. If you Google link Twitch to Amazon Prime, then there are a lot of helpful guides that should pop up and probably some videos too. So, with that in mind, said, covered, let's dive in. Let the eeriest nonsense begin. It has a triome, so I think you gotta keep it. Gotsta. It's fine. No glaring flaws. Other than being on the draws. Of course. Swamp. No turn 1 drop. Opponent doesn't know how to play best of one when you're on the play. Interesting. Could have played Prince. I think it's better to play Prince and blink an Apparition potentially, or to play it after Mothra. Oh, opponent really doesn't know how to play best of one. You can't miss a land drop. Didn't anybody tell you? You didn't get the memo. Let's play the Triton with nothing to Apparition here. Start filling that graveyard with some lovely cards for the eventual Eerie Ultimatum.
Seems I need to evolve too.
Ruined my plan. What the heck? Are you rogues? What did you keep and why? Okay. Weird. Do we run out the Mothra? If we run out the Luminous Broodmoth, and they have a Heartless Act, it looks really bad. But I guess we have to get through it somehow. Here she comes. Couldn't it be an eliminate? Nope. No, it could not. Okay. Is this blue-black control then? Appears to be. They're going to try to mill me. They're trying to mill me. So we want to do a combination of applying pressure and casting spells that they need to counter. Okay. What's in the graveyard? Both of the Broodmoths. The opponent keeps discarding spot removal. They must have a sweeper. Playing another Skyclave Apparition definitely threatens to get blown out. We can give the opponent a 3/3 now and a 3/3 later, or potentially 2 3/3s when they cast Extinction Event or Shadow's Verdict. I guess against Shadow's Verdict, this is a much better play. Although slightly less mana efficient, but 2 tutelages down. 2/2 tutelages. We still need the land. Don't know why this deck is having trouble playing lands. Yay! It heard me. Deck love me. Now what? Do we just try to attack through this? Or do we go for Yorion? I think whatever we play gets countered. Most certainly. So if we don't have a good attack and we get countered, it's very bad. Fortunately, the Death Touch creature still rumbles. Opponent trades. Alright, then we want to go for this and get it countered for sure. Because we don't want the opponent to just... We don't want to play something that the opponent can then sweep the next turn. Yep. Are they the Shadow's Verdict gamers? I like Shadow's Verdict in this deck. And Extinction Event, to be clear. Oh. Oh! Well, that wasn't too hard. That's got to be really bad for blue-black. Eventually we can Nightmare this thing. Whoa. They take this milling stuff seriously. So if we block here and give the opponent a 3-3, like this attack signals that they want to sweep. If we block and give them a 3-3, they really don't want to. So it puts off what they wanted to do with their turn. And maybe that changes up their plan. So now their spell costs 2 more. So we could go for a Nightmare and then a Haven, or a Nightmare and buy a Yorion. I think we definitely go for the Nightmare though. They could have Mystical Dispute, so we'll play this first. What if we play Haven? Then we still have 5. Doesn't really change anything. Ooh, that resolved. So yeah, I do think they're sitting on a sweeper now. Let's go get black so that this castle can be activated at some point. Don't think it really matters where we put the Haven. We haven't done much of the ramp game, and we've actually struggled with land this game, but we've had a lot of our power cards. It's kept the opponent off balance. They missed a land drop early. Okay, they've got a shark. A little shark action. This is a very fun Yorion deck, but it's not specific. It doesn't have to be a Yorion deck. Ooh. Alright, so let's get one of these. Let's take a counter spell from the opponent if they have one. Okay, it's all removal. We'll grab Drown in the Lock. Hopefully they kill the prince in response. That would be awesome. Or they're just going to cling this. That would be awesome too, because then we ultimatum, I think. Black, 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 green, green, white, white. Yes. Yes. Yeah, this deck doesn't have to be the greatest Yorion deck. Let's see if they block the prince, shall we? Snap that off. I'm having fun. Let's see how long they stick around. Seems good. Whew. Oh, baby. I'll gain 3, why not? Free planes. Bonus. Yorion! I guess this doesn't matter. I love the free passage. It's one of those little things about Eerie Ultimatum that just makes you smile, man. Let's put the Haven here. Why not? But you can move the Haven. A reason to exile the Haven is because you can move it to an untapped land. So that you actually get bonus mana if you can use mana on your opponent's turn for any reason. Which is pretty sweet. Extinction event. Some things have been exiled. I could have set it up so that they were exiled during that turn if I'd used the prince differently, huh? Not every day I mess up my Yorion, but there you go. Opponent's like, I dealt with all of that. I am awesome. There are no more planes. There's nothing to kill. So submit 0 Yorion. Awkward. Drown. Oh, I love taking Drown in the lock. It makes me happy. Just knowing that it won't be there. Orion! Let's just keep tearing their hand to pieces, shall we? Do we keep floating this? Yeah, I guess more walls is better than the life. And floating this means they stay taxed, which is fine because right now we have another one in hand. Now see, if I had held a black open, the Haven could have let me draw another card with the castle here. Should have watched for that. Picking up little tips and tricks every turn. Show me that hand. In response, I kill your Yorion. Again? Yep, again. Typhoon down. Love it. Okay. So this is all about value and sending a message. The message is, I win, you lose. Might as well float it until, well, I guess we have another Yorion coming back. They are constrained on mana, though. Every turn that goes by that they're under the tax is better, I think. Shuffle that library. We're gonna have so many walls. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be so great, you guys. Look at the walls. Oh, man. Just keep shuffling. I love how we draw land every time. We can't thin the deck much more. But man, do we draw those lands. So here we'll probably Blood Chief's Thirst the Yorion, maybe? Maybe that's some way. And then there is a Cling to Dust, so they can Cling to Dust the Yorion we target with the ECD. I guess that was a good reason to let the ECD go off. Although, well, yeah, they have to play this now. But whatever other card they draw, we just take. We could have also let this go and exiled their graveyard at some point. Ooh, we can stack this trigger first, exile their graveyard, then get a card back with ECD. But we have to declare our targets right away, so they can. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Look at me making up magic plays again. Is this the rope of anguish? You've gained too much value. I'm angry. Imagine a blue mage being salty. What is the world coming to? What is the world coming to where the counter kill everything mage is too salty to complete the game? I don't know anybody like that. If someone knows of someone like that, direct me to them. They probably make great YouTube content. Triome, let's keep. Triome, mana sources, interaction. The hand is actually a lot better than just a Triome, but the Triome is the tippity top. Temple of a Plenty. Okay. Sad robot. Alright, we'll make some black mana and play Birth and get some white mana. And our opponent's on maybe some kind of a green-white aggro plan. Interesting. What could it mean? Next turn might be Haven into Triton. It might also be a Nightmare or an Apparition, depending on how far behind we feel. Also, drawing a land would make me feel a lot better about that, since we do want to play these Solemns that we've drawn 2 in a row of. Okay. Opponent is on the move. We did draw the land. It does enter the battlefield untapped because of the Triome. So for me, it's a Nightmare. I think we want to give ourselves a chance to take a Great Henge before they can cast it, if that's what their deck is about. It's possible the Nightmare won't actually hit something good, but I think this is the play. These Hollow Blades will be obnoxious. I'm going to try to hold out for a Charming Prince to flicker the Apparition and get rid of both of them. I guess Solemn blocking them is fine too. The 0/4 is pretty clutch here. Got a Mammoth. And they say go. And let's have a look at this hand. Figure out what to do with our next turn. Eerie Ultimatum's nice. Oh my. Okay. So they're gonna play Innkeeper and draw some cards. What can I do about that? Not much. Not much. I have to go over the top. I think that's the only thing I can do. This is going to be a 5/5. That's really hard to block. So we could play the Apparition, but I think the Apparition has to hit the Innkeeper. So let's ramp away. If we get to where we play Eerie Ultimatum, that's it, right? That's what we need. So 3 black, we've got that. White is the easiest thing to come by. This produces an extra green. I guess it's another white? Black might be the safest bet, because if I draw another black off the top... No, another black off the top would mess it up. Another white off the top would too. So I guess I just get green. Just don't take a chance that the last land I draw won't cast the Ultimatum. Oh man, that's a draw. Woo! But it's not a land, and they didn't deploy their adventure creatures. It's not as bad as it feels. Plus now we can Apparition the Apparition and make a blocker. And we're set up... Oh no. We drew the forest. That means we're not gonna Ultimatum. Alright, I guess we just take more time. So if we put that there, we still have 5 mana. It's pretty good. Play the Apparition. Exile the Apparition, make a 4/4. The opponent can giant kill it, but it's their whole turn. And we have a death touch blocker now. That's pretty clutch against their mammoth. And it fills our graveyard for the Eerie. And any land off the top that's not a forest will cast the ultimatum if we need to. The graveyard's not exactly stacked, but it's getting there. Yeah, there's Giant Killer. How aggressive are you? You are infinitely aggressive. Okay. Make the opponent discard a card here. They get a 3/3. And they're down to a 3/1, a 3/1, a 3/3. We play a Solemn. We get a Yorion. I don't think they can kill us. Plus we get this back out of the graveyard when we Eerie. That's why we do it. Okay, we can Eerie now. That's pretty darn good. We could also wait another turn and possibly get more. Greed? Greed. They can't kill me from this spot. Greed. Greed. You didn't come here to see perfect play. You love the greed. Just admit it. Here comes the Innkeeper. Besides, waiting lets us Apparition the Innkeeper, which is their key card. And they're still attacking. Oh, block here, make them discard. Chainweb Arachnir. Maybe a little synergy with discarding there. Passage. That's a good one. That's a free ramp, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Greed. More greed. CGB, I heard you haven't been greedy enough lately. Oh, don't worry. I will be greedier. I know exactly what to do to be greedy.
Every bottle is a chorus of roars.
I know exactly what to do.
About to get out of
All right. Do we app them? We app them. There's an app for this. They Shepherd of the Flocket, which means they don't get a token when we flicker this. Could flicker the Haven, but there's no reason.
Beaten, but not extinct.
Take their Giant Killer so they can't tap the Yorion. Greed. Greed. Innkeeper returns, get that sweet card advantage. I know, man, I know. You're gonna need that fourth land at some point. The Seasoned Hollowblades have forced the opponent to throw so many cards in the graveyard this game. Birth on top. Let's go. Oh, come on. Yeah, fair. The Scoop Bringer, Eerie Ultimatum. No black mana, but Casket, Birth, Apparition, Apparition. That should keep an opponent busy. They're running Luris. Does it beat Rogues? Oh, God. Here we go. Here we go. Nothing beats a good rogue hand on the draw. Like, just nothing, so... But they had to mulligan. Keeps on 6. Temple. Scry to the top. They'll probably curve out just fine. Black card off the top, not what we wanted to see. Let's go get that Sweet Plains, shall we? Just play your Thought Thief. My actions for the turn are done. You don't have to wait till my end step if I can't do anything. Alright. Thieves Guild Enforcer located. Attack for 1. Alright, there are not enough cards in the graveyard yet for Drown in the Loch to hit an apparition, so we'll go for it. We get blown out by Jawari Disruption, but not everybody plays that card. Okay. Some bonus graveyard effect there. We still get to nab one. Sometimes you exile all their rogues and you're in good shape. But Into the Story is such a card. It would be nice if we had a Woe Strider. Can we do that, please? I grant that Rogues is a tough deck to play. I'm still going to make fun of people for taking too long. A little bit. Just a little. They can handle it. They'll be fine. They don't even know who I am. Attacking into Thought Thief is pretty bad, so we won't do that. The opponent is bottlenecked on black, so we want to keep their black mana busy every single turn. Let's go for a Casket. They're usually so greedy that they play this they play the Thief here no matter what because they want the mill. But let's see. They can wait till this targets, of course. Oh, okay. Maybe not. So they're still hoping I'll attack into it. But now I'm on 7, not 8, so it would just be a block. Uh-huh. Big moves. Shall we turn it on for them? But I'm glad they didn't Into the Story right there. Let's go. We're overloading the brain processor. Ah, fast, no attack. All right. So this removal spell probably gets drowned in the lock. But next turn we could play Nightmare and Apparition, which is really good. For sure we want to attack with the Triton. I think this turn we try to play the Vivian. It'll get countered. They always have Drown. But if they don't, and then they won't have it for next turn as well, we might add. Just in case they don't. It also keeps them from casting Into the Story if they have to play a counter spell. What?
Cat dinosaurs.
What? Alright, let's make some reach. Boom. Reach token. Come at me. Do it. No? Alright. Draw 4, do nothing. Classic. Let's see, we want another black to set up our third black in our castle. That does let us cast Apparition and Nightmare. The other thing that we could do is minus and cast Apparition, and then we get a Charming Prince for the other Apparition, so if the opponent counters this, it doesn't do any good. We are down a reach token, but I'm pretty sure we'll kill the Thought Thief. So let's start with going for the Nightmare. Or no, we're gonna shuffle anyway. Let's Passage shuffle first. We might see a creature on top of our deck. Ooh. Oh, that's what we were going to fetch anyway. All right. We could play it first and just see if the opponent does anything about it. They might kill the Apparition in response to the trigger. That could be their play. Do we care about that? A little. This also means we can't play the other Apparition. So let's do this. You know they want to counter this. It's such a pain in the neck for them. Yep. Okay. I still think we make sure that Thought Thief is gone. What else can we blink? If this resolves, what else can we blink? We can blink the Mire Triton. You know what? Actually, it's a bit much. Let's not. Let's go for the freebie on top. And then we can have another reach creature too, if they just kill the Apparition in response. Yep. CGB, you took forever that turn. Why'd you take so long? Well, guys, you know what? Sometimes Magic is complicated. Also, like I alluded to earlier, Rogues is very hard to play. Like, you make one mistake with that deck and you can lose for it. I know it annoys you. That doesn't mean it's for dummies. Just because a deck annoys you doesn't mean it's easy to play. That's specifically mono red. Evil smile. Do we go for the ultimatum? We have another one on top. Let's just go for it. Okay, 4 mana into the story. That's called Let's Pray. I don't want the Mire Triton. I want to keep the card on top of the library as it is. I don't want the Apparition. Or I want the Apparition, I just want the Nightmare to resolve first, I think. Well, maybe it doesn't matter. Don't want to shuffle. Don't want to shuffle. You know what? Screw it. We're shuffling. It's too much value. Can't turn it down. Can't do it. Can't turn it down. All right. Attach. Sure. Oh, I'm not auto-ordering? Okay, triggers are not being auto-ordering. That Soaring Thought Thief is really dead, isn't it? And then oh my gosh! All the ultimatums, no! No! Rip. Rip ultimatums. I might have regrets if they get out of this somehow, but I don't think they can, to be fair. I'm pretty sure this is going to be game. Like, how does the deck come back from this? I don't even know. I can't even begin to formulate a plan for them. So much reach.
I'd like you to meet my friend, Stompy.
Soaring Thought Thief. Come on. Of course they have it. They still have 49 frickin' cards to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Buy Yorion, play Yorion is 8. Get a free Broodmoth and play Woe Strider. Oh, that sounds delightful. We know the opponent doesn't have a counter, or they would have countered the ultimatum. If there's still a Broodmoth in our deck by then, of course. How are you gonna get out of this? I guess they're gonna try to mill me from 40-some cards. Whee! Never give up, never surrender over here. Still checking their own graveyard. There are still no creatures there. None. I can confirm. I've exiled freaking everything I've seen. That's what I do. So they buy the Lurrus. Everybody say bye, Lurrus. Okay. Take that. Okay, guys, this is gonna get silly. This is gonna get really silly. And we can hope our opponent will hang out for it, because, woo! This is gonna be something.
The more the hairier.
Let's go get a Broodmoth.
Lots of them.
There she is. Alright, before this even goes off, we want to do a good amount of value plays. Alright, target you. The opponent will sack it in response, I think. Hopefully not. Okay. That's fine too. Let's grab this, because why not? What do we want to do? Gain life, I guess? Who cares? Doesn't really matter. I could turn down this value because the opponent's trying to mill me, but I'm just too greedy. I can't do it. That's the coward's way. It is not the way. It's fine. It's fine. Fine. And trigger. You. Come back. When they come back without the flying counters, and we sacrifice them again to duplicate the effect again, and exile more stuff, do more things. Casket, let's see. Probably exile the Thieves Guild Enforcer because that is a mill upon enter the battlefield trigger. Then bring back the apparition again, exile one of the Thought Thieves. Probably exile the apparition with Charming Prince. No, we exile the Yorion with the Charming Prince so that we get to do it all again in the near future. So the opponent will be down to a Thought Thief. We'll make another 3/3. No, we already minus this. I guess we casket a Thought Thief. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's so freaking crazy. Not to mention the Nightmare's coming back. Oh yeah, Nightmare comes back. Nightmare hits a Thought Thief. Boom. That's what I'm trying to say. Boom. Keeps. I hope we draw a black or a green to settle what I should fetch. This is mono red. They play mono red. Alright, so Visionary is not very good. We'll get black. Good game. One of the dumber games I've played in a while, but there you go. We're supposed to say GG, right? Mock, mock, mock. Shade, shade, shade. They probably have the Annex too, which always makes me feel extra bad about taking out a Fervent Champion. Wow, Hazard the Face. Okay, come on, Apparition. Come on, Apparition. Unreal. So you're telling me there's a chance. Maybe I was supposed to take out the Fervent Champion there, because next turn I can flicker the Apparition, but I just don't think it will live. Whoa! Did you just cast that instead of... I think they messed up. I think that's a misclick. Alright, playing around Cleave. Although we're kind of giving the opponent a 3-3. Kind of, we are. That's not exactly playing around Cleave material. Yeah, I feel like I played this a little messy. Mono red just tilts me, what can I say? I'm gonna have the wall next turn to block the 3-3. I think we hang on. Also a Death Toucher, but they already Spike Field hazarded me. Okay, so now they're going for the Giant and the Arsonist. Is their last card Cleave? It usually is. Maybe it's not, though. Okay, these Visionaries are really making me mad. This is their worst matchup. Of course we drew 3. It's always frustrating. And attack with everyone. We are Embercleave. Arr. Still at 12 though, gaining 2, going up. The opponent's going to cleave one of these. Probably the one to go through the wall, but who knows. To go through the Death Toucher. Yeah, that does the most damage. That makes sense. Down to 4. Up to 6. No more Embercleave. Another Embercleave? If I block here, is it lethal anyway? I go down to 5. I guess I live. What's the point of living against another Embercleave? I guess I could top deck well. We'll give it a shot. Like, we do get to gain life off the Golden Egg. Hazard and Giant, Jesus. Do not quit, do they? Ooh, that's not gonna do it anytime soon. See, I've got a block. Gaining 3 life or blocking are kind of the same thing, but this one draws a card. Dodging top decks. Geez, I wonder if we'll attack with everybody. Good choice. Maybe they drew Embercleave. Okay, Arsonist. What do we get? Charming Prince can gain 3 life. Mire Triton gains 2 life. That's a lot worse. Skyclave Apparition can exile something and block. Mothra is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I think we need the life. So we'll take 3 life. Game 3. Exile one of these little puggers. Do you keep swinging when I'm gonna get this stuff back from blocking? Good question. Green, green. We need 1 more green or 1 more black. Land go? Oh, land attack. No, 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 no. Oh, opponent, you cray. You cray. Especially playing that land first, not even making me think. You've lost it. Uh-huh. You're gonna regret this. There's the green, but we're gonna have to wait a turn. Wait a minute, the egg casts it. The egg casts it. Oh Lord, the egg casts it. Hell yeah. This is called turning the corner. Oh. Taste it, Mono Red! Taste it! And we are back for the post-game wrap-up, and the deck did everything I could possibly want it to do. We cast many Eerie Ultimatums. Many did not resolve. Opponents were so terrified by the concept of all those things coming back onto the battlefield and creating millions of triggers that they just said, nope, we're leaving. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. When you don't want to play anymore, you know where the door is. It's the big red button under the gear. Sometimes it's the play. Sometimes it's strictly correct. But yeah, the Eerie Ultimatum deck actually, again, overperformed, just sort of using this endgame of endless value and overwhelming power to defeat many opponents. And it did well in ranked. And in best of one, it does appear that most opponents aren't prepared for the Eerie Ultimatum going way over the top. And if you can survive the early game, you will probably have a blast with this deck. I actually really like it. Where would I put it? I mean, it's probably hovering in the tier 3 and just outside of the tier range, because it's never, it can't have a great matchup with rogues. It needs a lot to go right. It needs the ultimatum to resolve. It needs to stay alive. So I don't like the rogue matchup. The Gruul Adventures matchup is probably tough. Those are obviously the best decks in the format. But the other question is, can you get to Mythic with this deck? Yes, I think it will take longer than it would with Gruul, Mono Red, or Rogues. But I do think that if you wanted to play this deck, that you could advance rank once you get to know it, once you get to know what hands to keep, what plays to make. I think this deck has upside. I think you can Mythic grind with this deck. On that note, as promised to the cool kids who stayed till the end and possibly considered a Twitch Prime sub that is totally free for them but pays me. For those of you still here, the check-in on the Social Blade. The prediction. 100,000 subs, 27 days, December 15th, 2020. We are still on track. You guys did a great job yesterday keeping the goal in sight. So thank you very much. There are still 40% of viewers who are not subscribed. You should consider getting out of the green and going blue, like my name would imply that one might do, because it's CovertGoBlue. Yes, I'm talking to you. And yeah, the countdown shall continue. After this, I promise I won't be doing like daily sub updates or anything. And I basically never said like and subscribe type YouTube stuff until we got to this point around 90,000. So if it's your first time seeing me and I come off really cringe about this stuff, we're just doing it because the one big goal that I had for the year was to hit the 100,000 mark, and it's close. We've got a shot. So after that, I don't plan to run my mouth about my subs or things like that. I plan to get back to shouting out smaller content creators who need a boost. I plan to get back to supporting various things that are awesome and just being sure, as always, to entertain you every day. I hope you'll indulge me for the next 27 days as we count down to 100,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.